5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action. Hello there, this is Jimmie here in Danvers, Massachusetts at a very special conference focusing on autism and Asperger's syndrome. And I'm here with a very icon in the autism community, Temple Grandin.
Well, it's really great to be here.
My question is, first of all, what is any stories that you might want to tell that might have been left out of the movie?
Well, the movie basically just covered my life in high school and getting my business started in college. And when I was a little kid, I used to just love to make things and, build all kinds of stuff, build kites, build experimental airplanes and things like that. I just loved making things. And, we need to encourage kids to do that. Another thing that's just super important is, autism is a very big spectrum. At one end of the spectrum, you've got somebody that remains nonverbal. At the other end of the spectrum, you've got Steve Jobs and you've got Einstein and people like that. And for the kids that are kind of quirky and different, get in with other kids where you have shared interests. It could be, programming computers. It could be building things. It could be airplanes. It could be cartooning. It could be music, the school play. But that's where I got my social life.
It's very fascinating, especially how much many people have been diagnosed with autism or Asperger's. And my next question is, how do you feel like the thing about autism and Asperger's syndrome getting more notified and much more noticed over the last few decades?
Well, some of the increased Asperger's is just increased detection because they started that almost 20 years ago. Asperger's used to be just kind of the geeks and the nerds, not very social. In fact, they're planning on changing a diagnostic category to take Asperger's out and make autism more strict and call the Asperger's social communication disorder. The thing is, it doesn't really matter what you call it. We got to take these kids that are kind of quirky and nerdy, they're falling through the cracks in the school, and find things that they're good at. Because there's different kinds of minds. There's a visual thinking mind, like me, that thinks in photorealistic pictures. The HBO movie did a fantastic job showing that. Well, I'm the kind of kid who couldn't do algebra. I'm finding a lot of kids that can't do algebra, but they can do geometry. Then you got the pattern thinker. That's a true mathematics mind. That's a kid that grows up when he can be a computer programmer, a physicist, a mathematician, and he may have trouble with reading. And then you got the guys that are verbal thinkers. So there's a lot of different kinds of minds, and we need to be working on building up the person's strengths.
I totally agree with you. Math was not my best subject in school, but English was. How do you feel like your portrayal by Claire Danes in the movie Temple Grandin?
Well, Claire did just a fantastic job. She just became me in the 60s and the 70s. I think the whole HBO team did a great job. Emily Gerson-Sains, who's the producer of the movie, is the mother of an autistic child, and she wanted to have it be right. And of course, one thing I really liked in the movie is they showed all my projects, and I like showing off my projects.
What was it like to be the inventor of the hugging machine?
Well, one of the reasons why I invented the squeezing machine was when I got into puberty, I had constant panic attacks. Us visual thinkers often have problems with panic attacks, and I was desperate for relief, and I watched cattle going into a squeeze chute for their veterinary work, and I noticed that some of the cattle kind of relaxed. So I built a device similar to a cattle squeeze chute because pressure helped calm my nervous system down. But I want to emphasize, not everybody on the spectrum responds to pressure. The autism spectrum is got a lot of variation on the sensory problems.
That's totally true. How do you feel like the change working with the cattle industry, how much that you change with the way cattle are treated in the slaughterhouses and all that?
There's been a lot of improvements. I've been working on the improving slaughterhouses for the last 35 years. And when I first started, I thought I could fix it all with equipment. So you get really good equipment in, that would fix a lot of things, but that doesn't replace management. You got to have good management. Otherwise, things aren't going to work. So in 1999, I started working with McDonald's on an auditing program, and they started inspecting slaughterhouses. And I worked on training the McDonald's auditors on how to do the inspection. If you're interested in some of that work, you can go on my website, Grandin.com, just my last name, just Grandin.com, and that's resulted in improvements. Things have gotten better.
out of all the things that you've done, either being like a professor, a writer, an activist, a cattle consultant, what are the most things that you are most proud of?
Well, there's a lot of things I'm proud of, but I don't look at myself as autistic first. I look at myself as a professor first, a scientist first. One thing I don't really like, especially on a lot of these kids on the higher end of the spectrum, is where autism becomes their fixation, where all they want to do is study autism. I don't like it when 9-year-olds come up to me and want to talk to me about autism. I'd rather have them talk to me about their science project. They like history. They like photography. They like to do artwork. I'd rather hear about those sorts of things. I mean, autism's an important part of who I am, but it doesn't define me.
Anything else have you done lately?
Well, I can't emphasize enough, the importance of early intervention, working with little kids the instant you see symptoms, because the worst thing you can do is do nothing with them. I'm working on a lot of different things. I've got graduate students that are working on cattle behavior. I've got a graduate student from Germany named Connie, and she's been working on a project on looking at how different mother cows vary and how well they defend their calf. So I'm still working on animal behavior.
I read in your, according to your Wikipedia page, that the squeezing machine broke down, and you still haven't fixed it. Are you saving that for like museum piece someday, your life, or what?
Well, I just didn't get around to fixing it. I'm hugging more real people now. I'm not going to throw it away because I think maybe somebody might want it someday. I've got some of my original press passes from the Arizona Farmer Ranchman and the Cowgirl Hall of Fame. Also the hand-embroidered shirt that got me into the original Swift plant. It was shown as Abbott in the movie, but it really was a Swift plant. And they couldn't use the real name because Swift still exists. But this brings up the thing of showing off your portfolio to other people. She liked the shirt that I had done the embroidery on. I was wearing my portfolio and I didn't realize it. When I was a really weird geek and I was trying to get cattle people to build some of my designs, they didn't want to talk to me until I showed my drawings. I had to learn how to sell my work rather than myself. So if someone's good at drawing or they're good at programming or they're good at art or something like that, you need to make sure you always have it on your phone because you never know where you might find the person that can open the door. There's also all kinds of fabulous stuff on the internet now, all kinds of free courses online, things like No Labs, that's like KNOW Labs, Udacity, Code Academy, Khan Academy, all kinds of free science and math things online. These things can serve as a door, and we need to be taking advantages of a lot of these really good things that are free online. Stanford's got free classes online. MIT does too.
Wow, that's fascinating. That's great advice. So anything else going on?
Well, all I can say is develop the child's strengths. Also, autism's such a big spectrum. At one end of the spectrum, you got the geeks and the nerds and the quirky kind of kids that, when they grow up, half of Silicon Valley is probably on the autism spectrum. If you go and look up at the old 60s and 70s, the old pictures of Mission Control, oh man, half those people in Mission Control probably were on the Autism Asperger spectrum. And then you've got kids on the way more severe end of the spectrum, and they need totally different kinds of services. I'm seeing a lot of schools starting up where people start up small schools for the kids on the high end of the spectrum, and then the more severe individuals, they need a different service. And it's really almost like, two separate things.
Okay, well, this is Temple Grandin. Lovely to meet you, and thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm with Temple's mother. So how's to be Temple's?
I'm very proud indeed. But I'm speaking for all the moms because I'm proud of them too. They've done a wonderful job with their children.
All the mothers are good mothers.
Yes, they're all very motherly. They really are. I think we have to hold on to who it is we think we are, don't you?
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing of all, that we are individuals, quite unique, each of us. And I believe in that uniqueness.
How are you happy for us to come over here and interview your daughter and now you?
I think it's a treat, and I'm honored, and thank you for coming. It's lovely, and I wish you all Godspeed and good luck. And thanks so much for including me.
You're welcome.
Hello, this is Jimmie. We had a wonderful time at the Autism and Aspergers Syndrome Conference. And I want to thank Camille and Kenny Murphy right here for helping me out with this. It is a wonderful special event. So I hope you enjoyed and have a great time learning experience like I have. So until next time, don't forget we're all out there, so we're not invisible anymore. Just get used to it. Till next time, peace out, brothers and sisters.
Yeah, baby.